The story of the Roman Empire is a colossal epic, a journey from a humble settlement on the Tiber River to a dominion that encircled the Mediterranean Sea, shaping Western civilization in ways that resonate to this day. Its rise was a testament to ambition, military prowess, and an unparalleled ability to adapt and assimilate. Its fall, a slow, complex unraveling driven by internal strife, external pressures, and a transformation that saw its Western heart eventually cease to beat. The Uprising, from Monarchy to Republic, c. 753 BCE to 27 BCE. Legend whispers of Romulus and Remus, twin brothers suckled by a she-wolf, as the founders of Rome in 753 BCE. While shrouded in myth, archaeological evidence points to early settlements on the Palatine Hill. Rome began as a monarchy ruled by a series of kings, many of Etruscan origin, the dominant power in Italy at the time. The true uprising that set Rome on its extraordinary path was the overthrow of its last king, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, in 509 BCE. This event, spurred by a desire for self-governance and an end to tyranny, led to the establishment of the Roman Republic, res publica, the public thing. This new government was characterized by a complex system of checks and balances. Two annually elected consuls held executive power, advised by the powerful Senate, an assembly of elder statesmen primarily from the aristocratic patrician class. The common people, the plebeians, initially had little power, but gradually fought for and gained more rights, including their own representatives, the tribunes. The early republic was a period of constant warfare and expansion within the Italian peninsula. Rome, with its disciplined legions and strategic acumen, gradually subdued its neighbors, the Latins, Etruscans, Samnites, and Greek city-states in southern Italy, Magna Graecia. What set Rome apart was its relatively generous treatment of conquered peoples. Many were granted forms of Roman citizenship or allied status, contributing manpower and resources to Rome's strength, rather than being purely subjugated subjects ripe for rebellion. The Punic Wars, 264 to 146 BCE, against Carthage, a powerful maritime empire in North Africa, marked Rome's ascent as a Mediterranean superpower. These three brutal conflicts saw legendary figures like Hannibal Barca cross the Alps with elephants to terrify Italy, and Roman generals like Scipio Africanus ultimately triumph. Victory gave Rome control of Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica, and much of Spain, along with naval dominance. Simultaneously, Rome turned east, conquering Greece and Macedonia and extending its influence into Asia Minor and Syria. While absorbing Greek culture, philosophy, and art, Rome imposed its political and military order. However, this rapid expansion brought immense wealth and vast territories, which in turn sowed the seeds of the Republic's decay. The traditional small farmer, the backbone of the army, was often ruined by long military service or outcompeted by large slave-run estates, latifundia. This led to social unrest, land reform movements led by figures like the Gracchi brothers, violently suppressed, and a growing divide between the super-rich elite and the impoverished masses. The late Republic was plagued by civil wars, as powerful generals, with armies loyal to them rather than the state, vied for control. Marius, Sulla, Pompey, and Julius Caesar became household names. Julius, after his conquest of Gaul, famously crossed the Rubicon River in 49 BCE, defying the Senate and plunging Rome into another civil war against Pompey. His victory and subsequent declaration as dictator for life signaled the death knell of the Republic. Fearful of his kingly ambitions, a group of senators, including Brutus and Cassius, assassinated Caesar on the Ides of March 44.
Caesar's death did not restore the Republic, but led to another round of civil wars. His grandnephew and adopted son, Octavian, along with Mark Antony and Lepidus, formed the Second Triumvirate, hunting down Caesar's assassins. Eventually, Octavian and Antony turned on each other, culminating in Octavian's victory over Antony and his Egyptian queen, Cleopatra, at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. The Principate and Pax Romana, the Golden Age, 27 BCE to 180 CE. In 27 BCE, Octavian, carefully avoiding the title of king, was granted the title Augustus by the Senate. He became the first Roman emperor, ushering in the Principate. While maintaining the facade of republican institutions, Augustus held supreme power, controlling the army, finances, and provincial administration. Augustus's reign initiated the Pax Romana, roughly 2 centuries of relative peace, stability, and prosperity throughout the empire. This era saw unprecedented building programs, roads, aqueducts, temples, amphitheaters, the flourishing of arts and literature, Virgil, Horace, Ovid, Livy, and the further consolidation and efficient administration of the vast empire. The Julio-Claudian dynasty, Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, Nero, followed, a mixed bag of competent rulers and notorious tyrants. After Nero's suicide and a brief civil war, the Year of the Four Emperors, the Flavian dynasty, Vespasian, Titus, Domitian, came to power, known for projects like the Colosseum. The Nerva-Antonian dynasty, particularly the 5 good emperors, Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius, Marcus Aurelius, is often considered the zenith of the Roman Empire. Trajan expanded the empire to its greatest territorial extent, conquering Dacia, modern Romania, and Mesopotamia. Hadrian consolidated the borders, famously building Hadrian's Wall in Britain. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, spent much of his reign defending the frontiers against Germanic tribes. During the Pax Romana, Roman law was codified and spread, trade flourished across the vast network of Roman roads and sea lanes, and Roman culture and the Latin language became dominant in the Western Mediterranean. Cities like Rome, Alexandria, and Antioch became massive cosmopolitan centers. Crisis and transformation, the tumultuous 3rd century, 180 CE to 280 CE. The death of Marcus Aurelius in 180 CE marked the beginning of the end of the Pax Romana. His son, Commodus, proved to be a disastrous ruler, and his assassination triggered a period of instability. The 3rd century was a period of profound crisis, often called the crisis of the 3rd century. It was characterized by 1. Military anarchy. Barracks emperors, proclaimed by their legions, rose and fell with alarming frequency. Civil wars were constant as generals fought for the throne. 2. Barbarian invasions. Germanic tribes, Goths, Franks, Alemanni, and the Sasanian Empire in Persia launched increasingly severe incursions across Roman frontiers. 3. Economic turmoil. Constant warfare, debasement of coinage leading to rampant inflation, disruption of trade, and heavy taxation crippled the economy. 4. Plagues. Devastating pandemics swept through the empire, reducing the population and manpower. The empire nearly disintegrated, with breakaway entities like the Gallic Empire and the Palmyrene Empire emerging temporarily. Reform and division. The dominant, 284 CE, brought a temporary halt to the chaos. He recognized the empire was too vast and unwieldy for one man to rule effectively. He instituted the tetrarchy, rule of 4, dividing the empire into eastern and western halves, each ruled by an Augustus, senior emperor, and a Caesar, junior emperor and heir. Diocletian also enacted sweeping administrative, military, and economic reforms, creating a more autocratic system known as the dominant, where the emperor was an absolute monarch, far removed from the first citizen ideal of Augustus. Constantine the Great, reigned 306 to 337 CE, eventually reunited the empire under his sole rule after a series of civil wars. His most significant acts were the Edict of Milan, 313 CE, which granted religious tolerance to Christians, effectively ending their persecution and paving the way for Christianity to become the dominant religion of the empire. He also founded a new capital in the east, Constantinople, formerly Byzantium, modern Istanbul, strategically located and heavily fortified. After Constantine's death, the empire was often, though not always, ruled by co-emperors in the east and west. The final permanent division occurred after the death of Theodosius I in 395 CE, with his sons Arcadius ruling the east and Honorius ruling the west. The fall of the Western Roman Empire, 395 CE to 476 CE. While the Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, would flourish for another 1,000 years, the Western Roman Empire entered a period of terminal decline. The reasons were manifold and interconnected. 1. Sustained barbarian pressure. Waves of Germanic tribes, Visigoths, Ostrogoths, Vandals, Franks, Lombards, Angles, Saxons, often displaced by the Huns migrating from Central Asia, pressed relentlessly on the western frontiers. 2. Internal weakness. Political instability continued, with a succession of weak or child emperors, often manipulated by powerful generals, many of Germanic origin themselves, like Stilicho and Ricimer. 3. Economic collapse. The West was less wealthy than the East. Constant warfare, loss of territory, especially the rich province of North Africa to the Vandals, and disruption of trade led to economic ruin. Heavy taxation further burdened the populace. 4. Military overstretch and barbarization. The Roman army, increasingly reliant on Germanic mercenaries, foederati, of questionable loyalty, struggled to defend the vast borders. 5. Social decay. Apathy, corruption, and a decline in civic virtue are often cited, though harder to quantify. The traditional Roman identity eroded. Key events marking the West's decline include the sack of Rome by Alaric the Visigoth in 410 CE, a psychological blow from which the city never fully recovered. The Vandals sacked Rome again in 455 CE. Attila the Hun ravaged much of Europe before being checked at the Battle of the Catalonian Plains in 451 CE. The traditional date for the fall of the Western Roman Empire is 476 CE. In that year, the Germanic chieftain Odoacer deposed the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, ironically named after Rome's founder and its first emperor. Odoacer did not claim the imperial title for himself, but ruled as a king under the nominal authority of the Eastern Emperor in Constantinople. The fall was not a single event, but a long, complex process of transformation. Roman institutions, language, Latin, which evolved into Romance languages, law, and the Christian Church, which stepped into the power vacuum, continued to exert a profound influence on the successor Germanic kingdoms that emerged in Western Europe, laying the foundations for the medieval world. The Eastern Roman Empire, with its capital in Constantinople, preserved Roman traditions and Greek culture for another millennium, a testament to the enduring legacy of this once mighty civilization. If you enjoyed the story, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.